What is up, guys? Welcome to today's series starter. I've got Genetic Juniors, and then hopefully we're going to end up in GT1 at the end of this whole thing, and then maybe, just maybe, we'll switch over to Formula A as they call it in this game, which represents Formula 1 or Super Formula. But going into the rules and regulations for Genetic Juniors, however, obviously 35 points for first, 30 for second, and 26 for third, and 22 for fourth. The 5 rounds we will be racing in Oulton Park, Knockhill, Silverstone, Donington Park, and the Snetterton 200, all the shorter layouts over their larger counterparts, and obviously we'll have to see how we get on in those. Welcome everybody to round 1 here in the UK at Oulton Park, using the Foster's layout in clockwise formation. You're only the 1.65 miles and 6 turns around this track to navigate round, and hopefully the 12 drivers on the grid today will have a good race. And starting off the season, there's going to be a rookie entering the grid, obviously myself, the Royal Phantom, entering, and we'll obviously have to see how we do compared to all the other drivers, obviously subject to a few changes as well. But let's get straight in to the qualifying then. Here in 2 minutes left to go of the session remaining. Obviously we've just set a 1 minute 16, doesn't really put us that far up, and sitting at an 11th place here in qualifying, so there's only one qualifying session. It is literally just a 15-minute session where you can go out and blitz the track, and hopefully the faster driver will be in front, and obviously we have to see how we will do there. So we are 0.731 seconds behind the league leader, who has set a 1 minute 15. We've got a lot of time to find, but sector 1 we were up on our own time, so we have still got a little bit of time left to go. Also, we are coming into this corner now, so it's not really, you just want to tap the brake slightly, swing out on the far side, then cut in to the apex on that second part of the corner. I just want to go down this back straight. It was a little bit bumpy, so the car doesn't get its traction down tremendously well, and then going into one of the last corners, just clipping the curb, run the corner out a bit wide, touching the curb there as well. We're going to stick it so far left just to try and use as little as track as we can, as little as track as possible, and we're setting a 1 minute 15.3, so we are 0.249 seconds ahead. Though we did have a one grid place penalty, that I think that probably was when I just entered the pits and I forgot to put the pit limiter on. I put it on so late that didn't stop the car. So we'll get into today's race. Obviously trying to see what cameras are best and what camera angles are best, so this episode might be different to the next episode next at Knockhill. But going into the first corner, obviously got a very good start against against the pole position sitter. Obviously we really know that starting in these cars in this game, you really do get the sense of you're much better, but that's where I need to tweak the settings just a little bit, just to know where I need to tweak them, and I think I need to increase it just that little bit. As you see there, we were 0.8 seconds up in front of second place already, and I think that's going to turn into 1 second as we head into this quick right-hander. And yeah, 0.7. Now they catch up a little bit on me as I brake a little bit early, but going into the corner and then coming out of it, I'm pretty sure we are going to see the next one where it's literally just going to be 1 second ahead. But it's all single file here at the moment. I didn't really think there's much going on in the way of overtakes back, so I think it will be a single file train here in the Juniors Championship. I was taking a little bit of an abnormal line there, but we're actually just going to keep it in front of us right now. Obviously with the very strict nature of the actual game, even if you run 3 tires or 4 tires over that white line, then you're going to get told to slow down, and they're going to bring you so close back to the car behind you. And even some instances, say if I were to get track limits now and to be told to slow down, then I would be absolutely terrified to do that, so just because I'd lose a few places. But then again, I probably would be able to get those positions back from the position in P2 or P3, even how far I fell down, I'd probably be able to crawl back up my way onto the podium position and probably make it through back into first place. But I think the graphics on this game, if Project Cars 3 was just this game but a lot better, then you know you'd be seeing Project Cars 3 gameplay. But because Project Cars 3 turned into GT Sport or GT Gran Turismo, and just an even crappier version of it, really, it didn't really work out. So you know, here we are still playing Project Cars 2. I do have Gran Turismo 7 downloaded, so you might see a bit of gameplay of that as well, just because the replay in this game isn't the best. Obviously, to get that leaderboard on the left hand side, you need to keep the overlay on the actual replay, so I've obviously tried to crop it down and keep that in there as much as possible. So yeah, I'll try and mix things up to be a driver view or chase cam, and then a bit of replay like this as well for you guys. But also we're just going to have to see how things are going to turn out in this series. Obviously it's going to be a little bit rocky because I've never really commentated on a racing game at all, or never really edited a racing game. It's always been editing FIFA and editing like gameplay clips of FPS shooters, as you can see in my Insurgency gameplay. That, you know, obviously I need to get a bit better at this and see what other people do as well online. It's, yeah, we'll obviously go forwards from there. But I think this race was, you know, it was a little bit nice and easy. There wasn't too much action to go along. I tried to find out, see whether there was that many overtakes, but I kept looking down at sort of just where it says lap 4 in that yellow column, and yeah, it's literally like 4 seconds or 4 tenths. Wow. 4 tenths of a second behind each player, each driver, and yeah, there wasn't really much overtakes. But I think there was these two blue guys. I like our teammate down in 9th though, he's not really doing too great in the AQI, Janetta Jr. at all. And yeah, they're only 8 seconds behind, which is a very, very long way back for this driver. As you can see, the fastest times of each driver from the lap 4, I think it was lap 4 or lap 3 just gone. I did a 1:15.9, so I'm literally driving a second faster than any other car on the actual grid, which to me at the time I thought, whoa, hello, he's just gone off there, he's just had a little bit of a wide moment. Get on the grass, get on the gravel, get on that little bit that there's absolutely zero grip on down there, and you see what I mean, because I got told to slow down in the cockpit, and the other second driver is going to have a look down the inside. No, he's just going to ram us in the back and just going to push us on a little bit, as we get a little bit of rear end bumper damage from that. But yeah, we still survive, and in that instance you're probably gone, or we were going like 70 miles an hour in that instance into that corner. So 17 mile an hour rear shunt is never pleasant on the wheel, and never pleasant actually to drive with. As you saw that I wasn't really that deterred by it actually on trackside camera, but you know, in the cockpit it was like you feel it come, or you feel it in your hands, and then yeah, you're just literally all over the place, and you're just like, oh, what's going to happen here? Please don't spin me out. But no, we just stay composed, and we're just going to keep going, and hopefully we will end the race in a good position. No more mistakes. But it is really costly when you do go over that white line, because they do slow you down quite a lot, and you have to do it pretty much immediately, otherwise you will get that penalty. I can't remember what the penalties are like in this game, but I think it's either like a 10-second penalty or a 5-second penalty on the end of the race, and it's just absolutely madness that they're that long. I think it's probably 5 seconds, but you know, we probably would have been able to build it up if we pushed and pushed and pushed. But you know, I just wanted to control the race pace, not trying to burn down the tyres too much, as obviously there is tyre wear in this game, and there's obviously fuel wear, and there's pretty much every kind of wear that you can probably imagine. But you know, we're only at lap 6. We have fueled up for obviously the whole race, and you know, I didn't really see the fuel go down tremendously much, but you know, we finished on quite a fair amount of fuel, just because you got the little pit, the track cool down right at the end, so they want you to get round up after the end of that and just drive straight into the pits. But also have to see how we can do from that. But yeah, from that little shunt we are gone up 2 seconds ahead, so I'm not too sure if there was any actual damage on our car, but from the car behind us in P2. They may have got a little bit of front end damage, and their bumper might be causing them a little bit of issues to drive with, who knows, but they are still in P2, 2 seconds behind, just closing us down a little bit, as yeah, there's not really much to say really at this point. And yeah, all seems quite controllable all out front, so obviously we might skip to a little bit later on in the race and see where we are currently going into lap 7. We have advanced up to lap number 12, as there's only a few moments left actually in the race. I think there's about a minute or so, or 2 minutes left, where we actually got up to lap 13, I think was the last lap that we get to, so there's only 2 laps left to go on this race. As look at that, like that is going into this corner, going that speed, like you're going like at least 130, yeah, it's probably about 130 miles an hour into that corner, or 120. It's immense speed, and cutting that curb, if you get that wrong, you are going off completely, because that part of the track is so bumpy, the car literally does not like it. It will spit you out and chew you up, and you will not be able to finish that race at all. And yeah, I've done it a few times in practice, where I was just trying to see how much corner I can cut and how much, or how late I can brake, and yeah, I've also done it a few times, and obviously won't show you showing that, but thankfully we haven't done it actually in the race. We've only had a few squiggles here and there, but actually say that lap 12 was our final lap, and here we go, coming up against the pit lane, and that is it. That will be P1 in our very first race of this career, and we'll obviously have to see how we progress going further through into GT4, into GT3, into GT1, and then into the LMP1 cars, and then obviously we'll have to see how we go through there. And here is the drivers' standings, team standings, and the round standings that have just happened. Obviously we've got 37 points, so we set the fastest qualifying time and the fastest lap in the race as well as the 35 points that you get for winning the race. And yeah, our teammate not really backing us up, so we are P2 in the team standings, but obviously into the next round at Knock Hill we will go and see how things turn out there. Till then, bye bye.